Hello and welcome to On the Bench, the fortnightly podcast for scale modelers by scale modelers. Available on iTunes, Stitcher, and all good podcast apps. While you're there, don't forget to mark us as your favourite so that you never miss a show. In this episode, we're going to be talking about when things go wrong. Even the best laid plans and intentions can end in disaster by doing nothing more than opening the box. How do you bounce back from plastic Armageddon? Then we're going to be having a bit of a chat about our goals for 2019 and what we're actually hoping to achieve this year. And of course, we're going to be looking at what's new in the modelling world. Fine Scale Modeller is proud to be the official supporter of On the Bench. Fine Scale Modeller is one of the world's most recognised modelling magazines and can be found in all good newsagents or wherever you purchase your magazines. Alternatively, you can go directly to their website, www.finescale.com, and subscribe to get the magazine home delivered as well as access to their digital edition. If you'd like to support this podcast, you can do so by going to Patreon. That's www.patreon.com/onthebench and pledge any amount from $1 upwards. Your contributions will help cover the operating costs and are greatly appreciated by the team. And hello and welcome to 2019 Season 3 of On the Bench. And in the studio I've got Ian. G'day Ian.
G'day Dave. G'day listeners.
And Julian.
Hello. I did that one deliberately this time.
So how did Christmas treat you guys?
Yeah, just another day for me.
No gifts at all or model kits or nothing?
No.
Oh, yeah, quiet Christmas?
Yeah, very quiet Christmas. Just the way I like it, mate.
And what about you, Julian?
No, I mean, I bought my own. The thing I mentioned last time, the boxing with the 109 and the 190.
Yep. Ah.
That was my Christmas present.
Really?
No one else. I don't want anyone else buying me kits because then I have to. Then I'll go, oh, I didn't really want this one, and
And are you going to get the other Edward jewel set that's coming out soon?
I saw that one.
Operation Bowden Plate.
Is that the one with the 190D?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the 109.
Yeah, I don't need two 109s. I don't really like 109s that much.
Yeah. Plus, it was a failed attack anyway.
Oh,
Didn't
really?
do much.
No, except just decimate the Luftwaffe
Yeah.
even further than what it already was.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's interesting too. Failed missions.
It was.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
disastrous.
Oh, yeah. A lot of their aircraft got shot down by their own flak because they weren't told what was happening.
Yeah.
I like hearing about military fumbles. And there's
There was
so many of them.
Oh,
It was more than a fumble.
Yeah, it was. I think they held the Americans back a day.
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah.
And of course, Patton came racing to the rescue.
Yep.
So he claims.
Yes. He won the war.
Yeah. Well, my Christmas is good. I got a Tamiya Tiger 1 as a gift, which was unexpected, in 135th scale.
Yep.
So I love Tamiya kits, so I reckon it's awesome. So, and this will be my second tank, which I guess I've got to paint the first one still.
That's it,
But
mate.
I'll get in this eventually. Individual links, love it.
Yeah, individual links on a Tamiya kit.
What's wrong with that?
No, I mean that
rare.
kit formerly didn't have individual link tracks.
Oh,
It had the
seriously?
rubber band ones.
Oh, how can you do a Tiger with the loose tracks and have rubber?
Well, there's a trick you can do where you drill a hole in the hull and then you put a piece of wire through to sort of pin the curvature on the upside of the tracks down.
So I lucked out with this kit then.
You
Yeah,
did.
you did.
Oh, cool.
But
Excellent.
yeah, especially since generally the Dragon kits are quite highly rated for Tiger kits, but those they've changed out most of them. They've taken out the individual link tracks and replaced them with rubber bands. So they've gone the other way.
Well, this is a Tiger 1 and it's showing on the box with Zimmerit, sorry. And I don't fancy doing that, so I'm going to do it as a...
You don't. There's plenty of Tigers out there you can model.
Yeah. What staggers me about the Tiger is that only, 1,500 were actually built.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, it's, I don't know, it just strikes me as bizarre that, you know,
And extremely rare to find on the Western Front.
I think anywhere in the Western Front would have been extremely
rare to find a tiger, yeah. They're mostly used in the Eastern Front.
Yeah, but even still, 1,500 wouldn't have gone a long way.
Nope.
Even as, you know, it's superior firepower and everything that they had. Yeah. What else did I get?
Dodgy fuel pumps.
Also, you've lucked out as well because this seems to be the one that doesn't have the rubber on the wheels. Because otherwise
what?
you have to get out your circle template and paint rubber on all of the wheels.
Oh, they got the pure steel.
Yeah, so this is the steel wheels.
Yep.
So you've got an easier time.
So they actually produce them with rubber on the wheels.
Yeah, the early ones had like rubber on every one of the 50 something wheels.
Oh gosh. Well, I'm glad I've done well there then.
Yeah, you get sick of tigers pretty quickly if you're doing that.
That's where a circle gauge comes in handy.
And the other kit I got was a Airfix 1 72nd scale Spitfire Mark 5. So that'll make a nice little quick build one day when I feel like a break from all my other sort of kits I'm building.
Yeah.
It's not Dave's scale.
No, it's definitely not Dave's
144th scale, but you know what? There's a present, so it'll do. I'm happy with that.
Yep.
Well, I think that was it. I had the only other sort of news I've got is I'm a grandfather again.
Yeah, well done, Dave.
Had another grandchild born today as we were recording it. Actually, last night at 11:53 on the 1st of January, so it was pretty cool.
Oh, cool.
So that gives me 3 now.
3.
Yeah, well, between my wife and myself, with 7 boys, you're guaranteed to get a few grandchildren sort of popping along. So, yeah, so it's pretty chuffed about that too.
Congratulations.
So that's pretty much it for... Oh, hang on, what's Ian pointing out there?
I'm just telling you the deco options.
Yeah.
And 007, wasn't that Whitman's tank?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not a big aficionado.
The one he got killed.
I'm not a big aficionado on German armour, so I couldn't tell you.
Me neither.
Huh. Well, maybe one of our listeners up there will be able to sort of point me in the right
I
direction.
glean a bit of information of people who do care.
Yeah.
But I'm not,
not
really one for them.
Well, German arm did look cool. You got to admit that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, it's squarey looking, right? I mean, that's the kind of the Germanic look, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I guess it matches the helmets, isn't it? That's why I call them square heads.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like part of the appeal to the Luftwaffe and the other German, armor and aircraft models, and everything has a sort of blunt look to it
and stylish.
Mm.
Yeah,
so.
And also
as we know, who designed the SS uniforms?
Oh, Hugo Boss.
Hugo Boss.
And you know what? It was a snappish uniform he designed too.
It was a very snappy uniform.
Oh, right. How about we just roll straight into what's new? How does that sound, guys?
Sounds like a plan, mate.
All right, terrific. And first cab off the rank is news from Kitty Hawk about their new Mirage 2000 in 1/32nd scale. It's due for release in mid-2019, and I think we might have touched on the Mirage 2000 earlier on in the year, though, I'm mentioning it was coming out. But it's certainly I love the Delta Wing. I reckon it just looks gorgeous, and I'm a big fan of Mirages full stop, especially the old Mirage 3. And this will look like it's going to build a great model, despite what people may think about Kitty Hawk as a modelling company.
Well, it might be their only choice. If you want to build a Mirage.
In that scale, 1/32nd scale, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if there's any other competing kits, but that's generally kind of what you deal with Kitty Hawk. They make stuff like subjects, in some subjects in certain scales that no one else does.
Yep. This is actually a 2-seater version, so it's the Mirage 2000D/N model. So, yeah, it'll be a fairly large kit in 1/32nd scale.
Yep, definitely.
Next up is Meng.
I've got to get one of these.
Have announced their Rolls-Royce armoured car that they developed and used between 1914 and 1920.
But you know what I like about it?
What's that?
The size of the wheels. It's got the big fat desert tires on it. I
Well,
just reckon it's just a stunning looking machine.
See, the thing is, right, within the last year, I actually built a kit of one of these. Not the one with the big fat tires, but the one with the skinny ones, right? And I had to persevere with the crappy Rodin kit. It is
the old Rodin kit.
It is terrible. So to see this come out like not that long after I built one, oh god.
Yeah, it's especially with the big fat tires. It just looks the piece.
There's a drawing here showing that the original sort of thin tires. It was prevalent in the 1914 sort of model cars. It looks here there's a double wheel that they use.
Yeah, they also did that with some of the old T Fords for the long range desert patrols.
Oh, okay.
They had back around Syria with the British and the Australians. They used to put dual wheels on the back of them because they were going through such sandy terrain. They just needed a bit of extra tyre grip.
They were used quite well in the desert, and of course, maintaining England's colonies out in the Middle East.
Correct.
Used to make good use for it out there.
They were used a lot around Palestine.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the thing I like about them is that while it's an armoured car, it looks like a Rolls Royce encased in armour. Mm-hmm. It still retains a sort of that old car flair.
Yes.
The interesting thing from about this kit is I think you can do the 1914 pattern or the 1920 pattern. There's some subtle differences in the tyres, as Ian mentioned earlier on.
Yep,
the 1920 pattern had the large, thick tyres that we're used to seeing on today's sort of cars. Also, there's a different turret style as well, with an additional machine gun, looks like mounted on top of the turret there. Looks like a Lewis.
Yeah, it looks like a Lewis gun.
And it's also got a boy's anti-tank rifle sticking out the turret on the side.
On the right-hand side.
Roof mantle machine gun is rotatable. Clear light parts and fine PE details are included, and it should be available within the first 2 months of 2019. So what scale did I mention the scale there?
135th.
There we go. Lovely.
Yeah, I'll be definitely looking to get one of them.
From Trumpeter, 4 new kits are announced for January. First one is the USS Constellation CV64 in 1/700 scale. USS Constellation, affectionately known as a Connie, had more than 30 years service with the US Navy, and she was I'm trying to struggle to think what she design was. It's basically the Kitty Hawk class of carriers. That's what I'm trying to get out. So that'll make a nice little kit, and Trumpeter do quite a good job in their 1/700 scale ships. So
nice decal sheet for the air wing.
It's a large decal sheet. I'm a bit worried about it because I'm worried about how fine it is. So maybe some aftermarket decals might be good for this particular kit.
Mm-hmm.
You get some aircraft with it. Total parts 720, 30 sprues. The hull is detailed in one piece and it's waterline only. And you get detailed flight deck and hangar, and some extensive photo etch details are also included. The aircraft wing includes the E2C, the EA6B, SH60 and FA18Cs, as well as an F14D. So it'll make a nice mix sitting on the carrier deck.
Big mix of aircraft, yeah.
In 1/48 scale, there's an Aero L39MS Super Albatross, which is a training aircraft. Czech military jet trainer developed from the firm's earlier L39 Albatross. It's quite a nice looking training. I've always got a bit of a soft spot for these sort of training jets or ab into jets. You know, they're really great to sort of use for counterinsurgency sort of warfare and that type of stuff in non-contested airspace.
African conflicts.
Yeah, I guess my love of these sort of jets comes from the Royal Australian Air Force used to have the Mackies.
The Mackie, yes.
And they were great little aircraft.
Well, now we've got the BAE Hawks.
Yeah, which are a hot little aircraft
very nice looking.
In their own role.
Well, to be honest, I can't tell the difference between a BAE Hawk and one of those things.
Oh, can't you?
They look very
Huge
similar,
difference.
actually.
The tail's different, the wing's different. It's, you know what, it's like, somebody once said, I was reading an article about, I think it might have been China copying the US aircraft or something like this, like the F-35 or the F-22. And as somebody pointed out, he said, well, there's only so many ways you can design a bike. At some point, a bike's going to look like somebody else's bike, isn't it? So it sort of makes sense, I guess, when you say that. You can't sort of see too much difference between them.
Yeah, I guess.
But
the Russians did the same when they got the B-29.
Well, that's a straight copy. That was.
Well, they even copied the Leica camera that someone had left behind.
It was a straight copy. That was.
Yeah.
So this is in 1/48 scale. It comes with Czech Air Force. Can't think of what.
Italian.
Oh, of course, Italian and
Middle Eastern.
Egyptian.
Iraqi.
Iraqi.
Is it Iraqi or is it Egyptian?
No, that's Egyptian.
Oh, Egyptian.
No parts count, unfortunately. But get photo etch parts, and it comes with 6 sprues. I beg your pardon, there's 140 parts. So it'll be a nice, quick, simple build if you're looking for something like that. Next up, we have a LP-16 launcher with missile, which is known as the Luna. The NATO name for it was the Frog 5. So the Luna is a Soviet short-range ballistic missile. Luna rockets were solid fuel, unguided, and spin-stabilised.
That's really impactful sort of artwork, the box art they've got there.
Yeah, it's really good artwork, as a matter of fact. And it was, it was...
It looks like an oversized Panzerfaust stuck on top of a tank.
Wow.
Well, the warheads are slightly wider than the...
Yeah, it's like a Panzer.
the body.
Stuck a Panzerfaust.
Yeah, it's a mid-range sort of ballistic missile used for tactical firing. So, it's something really, I don't know, interesting about this is the old Soviet sort of, armour and stuff from the Cold War. It just looks, I don't know. It looks agricultural, but at the same time...
Deadly.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I'm sure people will enjoy building that. Total length is 310, width 90.2 millimetres. Total parts 570. Comes with a copper cable, and photo etch parts are included with a total of 21 sprues. Oh, and the tracks, I beg your pardon. It comes with individual track links, which will appeal to those of you who enjoy doing that as I do. Last but not least from Trumpeter is the Soviet Su-102 tank destroyer in 1/35th scale. In 1944, the Russians developed the Su-101, which then came with the D-10S gun, and the Su-102 came with the D-25S gun. It's tank destroyers are a big deal during the war, during World War II.
Oh, yeah.
The Americans sort of had a lot of tank destroyers, and
not as many as the Germans.
Well, that's true as well, but the Germans were defensive, so as a defensive weapon, the tank destroyer works really well. But offensively, no. Although the Swedish still pushed that with their S-tank in the 1960s, I'm thinking
60s, early 70s.
Yeah. In fact, Australia actually looked at purchasing them.
The S-tank,
when we were replacing our Centurions. I'm glad we didn't go with the S-tank because it's not the best. We end up with the Leopards.
I don't know. It's nothing like having a tank that you can pull apart with an Allen key.
Well,
okay.
Oh, he's joking for the night.
Boom, boom.
This is a great looking kit, actually.
I like it. It looks good.
Yeah, there's something really hot about it. And
well, it's basically a T-34 going backwards in reverse, and then they've put a big gun on it.
Yeah.
The Soviets really pumped out a lot of different sort of tank models during the war, didn't they? They had their Su-100s, they had their JS-1, JS-2, JS-3s, they had their self-propelled howitzers.
A multitude of T-34s.
Yeah, so they really designed and experimented. And it's interesting because history shows that, armies that sort of do that don't necessarily win the war that they are in, because Russia is, deep in the war with Germany at that point, and yet they still had the time and the expense to go and sort of experiment with a whole heap of different sort of tanks.
Well, it really helps when you manage to put most of your manufacturing complexes on the other side of the Ural Mountains where the Germans can't touch them.
Yeah, well, that's true too, I guess. But, just interesting. So, and the Germans sort of did a lot of experimentation, but just,
in salt mines. That's about the only safe place they could do them, in the old salt and copper mines.
That's true, I guess. That's true. This is like a
big decal sheet.
Yeah, you got 4 decals on it. This kit will have 210 parts. Photo etch parts are included. 10 sprues with an upper and a lower Hull and the barrel is...
You got a metal barrel and a plastic barrel.
So you have a choice of two different main armaments.
Yep.
That's
Lincoln length track.
Oh, yeah.
One of Julian's favourites.
Yep. That's not too common on trumpeter kits.
Oh, isn't it?
No, not really. No, they tend to go with more individual length.
Yep.
Individual link.
Link.
Yeah.
Rightio. Now, this I thought was interesting. From Meng, they're releasing a 1/9 scale Kawasaki Ninja, the H2R, which is one of their modern-day motorcycles that Kawasaki put out. But the interesting thing about this particular model is that it is all snap fit. It's pre-coloured photo etch parts, and the other interesting things about this kit are, if I can just get down, total parts count 210. Thinking that the sprues, they've got multicolored sprues. No, there we go. This is the interesting part that I was wanting to get to. They've actually managed to replicate the carbon fibre parts like you'd find on the actual motorcycle itself. And I thought that was really interesting as to how they've actually gone and done that. So I really wouldn't mind having a look at this, although the subject matter doesn't interest me, but I wouldn't mind having a look inside the box just to see what comes inside it and whether it's actually how they can get away with doing a snap fit kit of a motorcycle.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting. Because, like, carbon fibre, generally you have to replicate that with decals.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see. So hopefully we might get some pictures in the next few months of in-the-box views, and I'll keep my eye open for that and be able to report back to you. Hobby Boss. They've got two new World War II kits in 1/35 scale for January. The first one is the Panzerkampfwagen Roman numerals 6.
It's a King Tiger with a Henschel production turret.
Thank you. I'm just trying to think about...
it's a King Tiger.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, thank you. King Tiger.
They're out there. Everyone makes them now.
Well, how many King Tigers were made, do we know? If there's only 1,500 Tiger
Wouldn't
ones,
have been that many made.
No.
But every kit manufacturer has got a kit of one.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I think there's like Meng and Takom came out with one within the last year.
Yeah, the ones with interiors, aren't they?
Yeah.
The full interiors, yeah.
It's like,
They'll make a really nice kit for those of you who like building your German armour. Comes with the ubiquitous brass etch, as well as some clear parts as well.
And it looks like you got a separate sheet for Zimmerit.
It does indeed. And individual link tracks. The kit consists of over 900 parts, of which a fair whack of that will be just for your tracks alone.
Yeah.
You got multi-slide moulded lower hull, turret, individual tracks, Zimmerit is included, and also photo etch parts, as I mentioned.
900 parts.
Yeah.
A lot for a friggin' tank, isn't it?
Well, it's a lot of wheels and a lot of tracks.
It's a lot of wheels and tracks.
We have also from the same manufacturer is a M3A1 late version with a 122mm howitzer. So the M3A1 was the American cars that were shipped over during Lend-Lease, which is the white Scout car, which was first produced in 1938. And obviously the Russians grabbed it in Lend-Lease and adapted it as a towing platform for their artillery, for their 122mm. This would make an interesting subject, actually, to build. You get a choice in your decals for either doing a US version for the Scout car itself.
French.
Where are you looking like? Oh, yeah, Free French, possibly.
Free French.
That's right. The French got a lot of stuff from the US after the war, didn't they? Which,
well, not just that. The French had their own brigades during World War II.
Yeah, which were US equipped.
All US equipped, yes.
Absolutely. And, of course, you got decals for the Russian version as well. I'll just have a quick look at see how many parts counts. Interesting, you get rubber wheels or tyres for the Scout car.
What was that, an aluminium barrel for the howitzer?
Yep. It is indeed. And
Actually, I think those tyres would actually probably be for the gun.
gun carriage.
Yeah. Because they're two different size tyres, and there's no way the white Scout car had such different size tyres.
Actually,
unless it's a Big Daddy Don Gartlett's dragster.
Nah, I think you have a good pickup there, Ian. Metal parts for the gun barrel. It's got some photo etched, a very small amount. Kit consists of over 600 parts. The main tyres are in good detail, and that's pretty much it from Hobby Boss.
Looked like it'd be a decent kit for like a diorama.
Yeah.
Like if you just wanted to sort of like all encompassing sort of vehicle setup for a diorama, wouldn't be too bad.
Next cab off the rank is from Horizon Models. Now, I sent an email to Tony the other day because we knew this was in the offing when we last spoke to Tony from Horizon Models. Now, Horizon Models specialise in doing rockets, and as Tony mentioned in the episode that we spoke to him, his Redstone launcher is now available in 1/72 scale. So he's taking pre-orders now, and the kits will be shipped in January. And Tony's is actually going to send us a copy of the kit too, so we can have a look at it and
play with it,
do a bit of a review. But just quickly, they're about $31.95 per kit.
It's Australian.
That's US. It's $37. No, US is $31.95 per kit, and then it'll be a bit more expensive for the Aussie kit. Yep. Comes with finely engraved Redstone rocket launcher stand, finely engraved recessed panel lines and bolts. Parts and decals include to build any one of the following versions. The Juno 1 with Explorer 1, which was America's first satellite, or you can build it as a US Army PGM 11 Redstone ballistic missile, or the Sparta version, or you can also have it with the WREAS. Let me say that again. WRESAT mission, which was the first Australian satellite which was launched. Because the Americans actually gave us one of these rockets, and we whacked a satellite on it and launched it.
Yes.
So we'll have more to talk about this when we actually get a kit in our hot little hands to review.
But going off his other kits, it's going to be quite nice.
Oh, it'll be great. Yep. And I'm just dying to see what it's going to look like in 1/72 scale. It'll be awesome.
Yes.
Other news I've got is that Badger are doing a 25% off international postings. For with I think they got to deal with the UPS or FedEx, whichever company they use.
Right.
And apparently it's 25% off for all international deliveries.
That's pretty good.
So that'll help in reducing the cost. So if you're looking or thinking about getting a new airbrush for this year, perhaps tootle along and have a look at what Badger has got. Of course, we had a look at one of their SOTAR last episode, and that's a great little airbrush.
Very nice looking airbrush, that one.
So pop along to their webpage or go to Badger's Facebook page. That's it from me for what's new. Have you guys got anything?
No,
except what I just told Julian earlier. That was Edwards releasing the Operation Bowden Plate box set.
Oh, of course, yeah.
48 scale.
Yep. You should get that, Julian.
I might get like just a standalone Focke-Wulf D in the future.
D9, 11, 13.
Probably just a 9.
Just as run of the standard 9.
Yeah,
just a boring old 9.
Yeah, well, I don't.
Go the whole hog. Buy TA 152.
I like doing flashy schemes of bog standard sort of variants. I don't go straight to the weird corner, because if you go straight to the weird corner, then you go, oh, well, I've got one of those on my shelf, but then it's one of the weird ones. I wish I had just one of the regular ones.
Yeah. Because if you go with TA, you can do some really cool paint schemes with the TA 152s.
Yeah, but it's got extra.
Plus, they got
extra
really
long,
big fat propeller blades and the long wings.
Yeah, the long wings take up more footprint space on my shelf.
Not that much.
Doesn't just strike me looking at the TA, it doesn't scream to me nimble fighter though when you look at it.
Well, it's more high altitude.
Yeah, but it doesn't. you look at that and you look at it against a P51, and just looking at it, you know which one's going to win.
Not always.
Yeah, true.
The P51 goes in front of the gun sight of the D9.
Well, of course,
it's going to be turned into confetti pretty quickly.
Well, even if you're flying a Tiger Moth and you had a couple of guns, anything that flew in front of it was potentially
Well, considering, the P51's got, 650 cals?
Yeah.
The D9's got, 2 machine guns and 2 cannon.
Germans like their cannons, didn't they, and their fighters. But I'm just saying the TA doesn't look like a nimble fighter when you look at it.
Well, is anyone nimble at that altitude that they're supposed to fly at?
Not really.
What, World War II you're talking about?
Yeah.
Well,
nothing really.
No, I guess, but...
I mean, at the altitude that it's supposed to fly at with its extra wingtips and all that.
Well, what was it ceiling rating? Anybody know? Off the top of your head?
No idea. And that was good.
I don't know enough.
Well, they say it was probably one of the best designed fighters of the Second World War.
Well, who are they? These are the same people that say an F-16 is better than F-35. Those sort of people.
No, I'm just saying people in general, Dave.
Come on, it's all apples and oranges anyway.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. They got their bums kicked at the end of it, so it didn't matter.
Yeah,
they had the best machines.
Just made an observation. It doesn't look like a nimble fighter. No. That's all I said.
It's a cool looking plane, mate.
All right, we'll be back very shortly to have a chat about when things go wrong. And boy, have I got some stories to tell you guys. Back shortly. And we're back to have a chat about our next subject, which is when things go wrong when you're modelling. And this subject actually came up because of the disasters I've had over the last couple of days, and I've had some real doozies.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be you.
No. As I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, modelling, you can have best laid plans of men and mice, but just opening the box, you can have a disaster happen.
Oh, of course. And
in my case, I'd actually started building the CVL-22 USS Independence, and I've gotten to the point where I wanted to build the island. So it says, go to Sprue H, and I'm looking for Sprue H, and I looked, and I looked, and I looked, and I looked, and nowhere to be found.
Gone.
Didn't even come with a box. So there's my first disaster. So I thought, I'll start on my USS Gambier Bay. And with the Gambier Bay, the hull comes in 2 halves. And down the centre of the model, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what would you call them, spaces, Ian, I guess, or brackets to make sure the hull stays rigid.
Yep.
My first Hasegawa kit. I've always heard good things about Hasegawa. And normally I use Tamiya extra thin glue, but when it came to actually gluing the spaces in, I thought I'll use my old Revell contact glue.
Yep.
Which I've never had any problem with before. So popped that in there because I think that gives a little bit of extra strength. And popped it in there and put it aside to dry. And I'm noticing all these sinkholes appearing where the female part goes into the male part of the model.
Yep.
And all the way along, the plastic just sort of oozing in, looking like these massive sinkholes. And I thought, what the heck's going on there? So I just put my finger on one, and it seemed to accelerate the thing, making this big hole in the side of the model kit. And I think, oh my God. So I don't know what went wrong there. I've never had any issue with this glue before, and I'm just wondering whether it's something to do with the Hasegawa plastic and that particular glue that just doesn't like it. I don't know. And it's not like I sort of poured gallons and gallons and gallons of the glue in there. Just there's a couple of drops. And then I've got this massive sort of issue occurring. So to rectify, I cut some sprues off, which happened to be the same sort of size, and shoved them in the side, and then just cut the sprue off. And it's finally cured and gone off and gone nice and hard now, but I was gutted. It just really threw me out. And then on top of that, when I had the so I thought what I'll do is I'll dig out a kit. I had a Tamiya Japanese cruiser, and I thought, well, nothing ever goes wrong with those particular kits, and it's just starting to fall apart, fall together with no dramas whatsoever. Fall apart.
You almost said
That's
fall
a
apart.
Freudian slip. It was falling together beautifully, and then I sort of knocked one of the Tamiya extra thin pots over, and the glue just went all over the desk.
Over the kit? Or just
No, luckily the kit wasn't in the way, but it went everywhere, absolutely everywhere.
I think that has to happen to everyone at least once, because then you quickly, when it happens the second time, you sort of go, "What?" and you get everything out of the way really quickly.
But what's so frustrating?
That's why you spend that extra money, Dave, and you buy one of those display holders.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I bought one of them, and I haven't spilt me glue yet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right along the lines of like the old throw the garlic out the window to keep vampires away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Totally agree.
But it was just disaster after disaster, and I got to and it was only that's why I reached for the Tamiya kit, because I knew that it was going to be a true and reliable build.
Ah, yes.
And and it's still going together really well. I'm absolutely loving it, and it just got me thinking. Well, how many times you have these sort of disasters, you just don't recover from them. I mean, I had a kit that I was building, and I got so frustrated with it, I just threw it in the bin because nothing was working on it whatsoever.
I had that once. I think it was the old Williams Brothers 148 scale Ford Flivver, which is like Ford's little single-seat aircraft they built in the 1920s.
Right.
Really nice Ford blue on the side with polished aluminium, and had this big blue white Ford lettering.
Yep.
Went on beautifully. The decal went on nice. Put a couple of clear coats over it. Looked like the Ford had been painted on.
Yep.
And I thought, I better do me metallics. So I gave it a week, masked it up, painted me metallics, started pulling the mask off, and everything just came decals, and everything just came away
No,
with
even
the
the
mask.
decals going. Oh
Yep.
God.
Yep. I mustn't have cleaned the plastic off properly. And that just took a nosedive into the bin.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wasn't even going to attempt to fix that. That just, see you later.
But see, and you see, and there's been things where I've seen on Facebook where guys have done this beautiful paint job and put a decal on. The decal's destroyed. It was sort of cracked and bubbled up, and you go, how do you come back from something like that?
Just persevere.
Well, sometimes you don't. There are some. I think there are some mistakes that are just you can't redeem them at all.
Yep.
It's just because like say you painted an aircraft in a very particular scheme, like a very particular scheme, and then your decals crack on you.
Yep.
Right, and you can't get those decals anymore. Well,
yep.
Where's your recourse?
True.
You got no choice but to throw it away.
Yeah.
Or mask.
Or of course you could always paint it in a different scheme. That's going to be soul destroying if you're doing something really out there. Like say one of them French Vichy schemes. With all the bright yellow and reds and.
Yeah. It's similar with the old monogram 48 scale Grumman Panther.
Mm.
I bought a set of decals from I can't remember what brand they were, but they're from France. I think they begin the letter C. And did a beautiful paint job, all my metallics and everything. Got ready to put because I wanted to do from the Yorktown CV10 or C10, whatever it was, the aircraft carrier. And as soon as the first decal hit the water, it was like minute bits of confetti. It just shattered in 1,000 pieces.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, that's useless. So I've got this beautifully 3/4 built Panther just sitting in a box somewhere.
Oh, jeez, no.
With a few kits like that where the decals have let me down. And it's just, I'll just put them aside. One day I might get back to them or I might decide to chuck them. Who knows?
Yeah. So in a story, if you recall, at the Model Expo we went to, one of the guys came up and we got him on air, and he's a real aficionado of the Heinkel 111. He just loves them. That's all he builds.
Yep.
And he built what he thought was his best version of the aircraft ever. Only to realise that he got the camouflage back to front.
Yes.
There's horror stories like that where even the minute planning that you put into sort of building kit. I don't know about you guys. Do you go through the instructions before you start your build, or do you plan before you start the build, or do you just dive straight in and start building it?
Depends what kit you're building.
Yeah.
An armour kit, I usually just hook in.
Yep.
Because really, it's an armour kit. You can't really do much wrong. But there'll be hundreds of people out there that tell me you can do wrong, but myself, I just build them. Ships, No, ships you really need to plan ahead.
What about aircraft, though?
Yeah,
I get it with the ships because you got to do all your sub-assemblies and everything. Like
aircraft are the same. You got to do a lot of sub-assemblies for aircraft as well.
Everybody starts with the cockpit.
Yeah.
Yep.
One day I'm going to start with the tail. Just to be different.
Or just start with the armament, perhaps, the bomb load or something like that.
Something like that. Just totally.
Or the undercarriage.
Build it in reverse.
Don't you normally start with the undercarriage and other small details first?
Me, no, with aircraft, you start with the interior.
Okay.
Build the interior, then build everything else. And then, as you said, do the undercarriage and all that. Usually around the same time. And
So I normally don't even think about touching undercarriage and stuff until I've already got the plane complete, like the fuselage, the wings on, all that stuff.
That's usually my last thing is actually painting the whole thing and decaling it. Everything else usually by that stage is done.
Yeah, it's a bit odd. I don't because like
I'm trying to think. The last time I touched my airbrush would have been at least a month ago. And it's not because I haven't been doing anything. I've just been constructing.
Yep.
Yeah, see, like the reason, like with it specific to aircraft, the way you do it is odd to me because I'm more concerned about overcoming the major hurdles before I invest more time. Right? So my main concern is decals because those are always the risky part, right? Yep. You never know what you're getting unless you're getting, like, say, Eduard cartograph decals that are, like, reliably always the same, right? If you're going with some oddball aftermarket decals, then you don't know what you're getting. I'd much rather get that out of the way before I waste, however many hours cleaning up and painting all the undercarriage and ordnance and all that sort of junko.
Yeah. Well, that's the way you build. Everyone builds different.
The other mistake I did.
Another
one. You got another one.
I got one more. I was on a real roll when I was just building, and I thought I'll experiment. So I was reading somewhere about Bondo in the US. I think it's a product you can get.
Yeah, it's a filler. Automatic.
Yeah.
Body filler.
And somebody mentioned, there's a filler out here in Australia you can get called Septone.
Right.
So I thought, I'll whip down and buy a tin of that and see what it's like. So bought it, and I was actually working on
1 or 2 part filler, is it?
No, it just comes in a tin. You pry the lid off, and it's all there ready to go.
So you don't have to put a hardener with it, or
no.
Okay.
No. And it mentioned in there that it's got poly something in there as well. So I thought, it's got plastic in there of some description. So I should work on a polystyrene kit.
And it probably gets as hot as hell.
It did. It started melting apart, so I had to quickly whip it off and shoved it under the tap to try and stop the chemical reaction. And so there's $22 down the drain. So
what kit was that?
It was actually on a test part of the Hasegawa kit. I tested it on a part of this, and luckily it's only a small part. I only did a minute little bit. I could see immediately it was starting to eat into the plastic. So straight under the tap to stop the chemical reaction, rubbed it off. And
see, I'm all. A lot of my sort of modelling is about minimising risk, right? I don't want to go anywhere near something that's risky if I can help it. I mean, sometimes you have to.
Where's your sense of adventure, Julian?
Because I don't really want to invest like 20 hours of time into something only for it to go poo-poo, right? I'd rather not. I'd much rather come out the other end and go, oh, look, there's a finished model.
See, at some point, some modeler out there thought, floor polish. I'll use that in a model and see what happens. And now we've got this ubiquitous, what's the name of that? Future that everybody uses, which I'm really starting to move away from now.
Yep, I don't go anywhere near it because it's risky as hell.
No, it's not risky as hell. I've had no real dramas with it. It's just more superior products
Even
out there
people
now.
I know who swear by the stuff know that it will sometimes crack on you. Like it looks like a dried riverbed, Cracks everywhere.
Yeah, that happened to Chris Dowsett, didn't it?
It happened to Hamish. He had that big...
it did happen to Hamish, yes.
Airliner that he
that
did.
big airliner.
Yeah, he swears...
A300 or something.
Oh, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's a really big airliner. That took up a lot of space.
The A380.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful build.
Qatar Airways or something.
It's a beautiful build, and it's got this crazed look to it because it's the future's gone all funny.
Yeah, and he swears by future. And
he does.
His thing is he builds everything shiny, glossy. He builds race cars, he builds airliners, everything glossy and shiny, and yet this still happened to him.
See, that's what happened with me with a Hasegawa kit with this damn glue. Never had problem with this glue before, and then this one kit, it just went.
See, yeah, for me, that would be it. I would never touch that stuff again.
Well,
they're in the bin.
You know what? I'm on the same page with you. I'm never going to use that glue again. It's going to go in the bin.
Oh,
for sure.
I got rid of mine years ago. I only used Tamiya.
But it used to
extra thin.
It was a great glue. It was I never had any dramas.
Once I started using Tamiya, mate, it was like not touching anything else.
Yeah, you're right.
This stuff's just made for it.
I forgot what I was going to say now, but that's all right.
Like the old Airfix stringy glue.
Oh, that used to be. I remember. That was
the top
terrible.
off and it just had this big long stringy bit that come off like a big spider web.
And to get on your fingers and all over your model.
Go all over the place. Yeah,
it was atrocious.
Good stuff. Good days, mate. Good days.
Yeah, I mean, like, so I uploaded some of my builds from this year up onto our Facebook page.
Yes, I saw that.
Most people would look at it and go, "Oh, he hasn't weathered these. There's no weathering on them," and they'd be right. There's no weathering on them because I haven't sort of got to that yet. At the moment, I'm still stuck in this phase where I'm trying to remove as much risk and as much mistakes from my process.
Okay.
Whereas weathering can hide mistakes.
Hang on a second. Using your theory, the way you work, Julian,
okay.
If you had been around 10,000 years ago, mankind would never have discovered cheese.
Right.
Am I right?
No, the thing is, like...
Because you never try something
I'm not saying that everyone should do things the way I do them.
Or going
right?
up, look at that bovine. What are those 4 dangly bits? What if we pull on them?
I'm not saying everyone should do things my way, but I'm like, if there's a risky thing, I'd much rather other people go ahead and make those mistakes, and I can learn from their mistakes, right?
Okay. Learn from other people's stuff-ups.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd much rather learn from other people's stuff-ups.
Well, I'm here to tell you then, Julian, do not use Septone as a filler. Do not use
I don't think you need to tell me that one. The thing is, like, most modelling products are made for models, right? When you start using other things on them, there's already an element of risk involved because it's not made for models. That's how I see it anyway. So I don't use Future because Future's not for models. And I don't use body filler for cars because that's not for models either.
Well, Bondo is. I love it over in the States.
Bondo's a good stuff. It's good. As long as it's a low temperature body filler, you'll be right. Because the difference between the automotive body fillers and the hobby body fillers is they don't shrink.
Absolutely.
And that's the problem you always have. Like I love me Tamiya white putty.
Yep.
Great stuff. But as soon as I put Tamiya white putty down, I won't touch that piece for over a week. I won't even look at it. I'll just let it dry off and shrink. There's nothing worse. And I've had it happen so many times. You build a kit, putty it, looks great, paint it, decal it, flat clear coat it, put it on the shelf, come past in 2 months' time, you can start seeing where the putty started to shrink and you can see like your join lines. It's like, come on, it wasn't there.
It wasn't there.
Yeah, that's why I go on. My thing is super glue. Super glue and accelerator.
Yep.
You know, dries instantly as soon as you hit it with the accelerator. Dries hard. You can scribe it.
What sort of accelerator do you use?
Zap.
I just use the BSI Industries, Bob Smith Industries.
Do you know water is an accelerator for...
Yeah, yes. You've mentioned this once before.
I just think it's
I tried that trick and it didn't work for me, right? I'm not saying it can't work. I'm just saying it didn't work for me. I have noticed that on other brands of super glue, my accelerator doesn't work.
Yep.
Yeah, so...
That's a way of trapping you into buying just their products for that particular CA glue.
I'm happy to stay within that because it works every time. Zero risk.
Yes, the disasters. That reminds me of a disaster you came up with a few years ago.
Which one was that? Oh, I'm not going to tell that story, are you? Oh, no.
This sounds juicy.
Someone decided, Dave, that they were going to pre-shade their panel lines using a texter.
Yep. It wasn't just any texter.
It was a texter, wasn't it?
It was one of those Sharpies.
Oh,
As soon
no.
as Dave mentioned, I've gone, you silly bugger, get rid of it. No, I'll stick it out. It'll look good. Put some paint over it. Looked great for the first day, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
And then the texture come through the paint, didn't it?
It bled right through the paint.
As it does all the time.
And you know what? I've still got that kit, and it's still bleeding through now.
Yeah, it'll never stop bleeding through.
Yeah.
That's the one thing, guys. Don't ever use Sharpies before you put paint on.
Unless you plan on
Disaster.
sanding it off.
Yeah, but even then.
But lucky for me, it was just a very cheap. I think it was a scooter, a Skyhawk model I bought. Just
an
1/72 scale. Yeah,
an A4. I remember it was.
It just bought as a test bed anyway.
Yep.
And gee, I tested something and found out it didn't work.
Yep.
Oh, mind you, the pre-shading looked really sharp. It looked really good.
Oh yeah.
Is that a joke with relation to the fact that you use a Sharpie?
It looked awesome. The best sort of pre-shade I've ever seen. I look, this looks hot. This is going to look really good. And I remember telling Ian, and Ian looked at me horrified as if I'd stolen his firstborn.
It's like, how could you, Dave?
Oh, well.
I thought so much better of the.
So I do use a pen on my models, right? So when I'm cleaning up fuselage seams, I'll use a pen to figure out to see if it's properly removed, the seam line.
What do you mean?
Well, you know how like you would spray some primer on
Yep.
to make sure that all your seam lines are covered, rather than get out the airbrush and go all through that whole process. I just use a pen.
Why don't you just use a can of a rattle can, like Tamiya?
Well, I don't want to be bombing on layers of paint that
No, you don't. You just dust it on from the like Tamiya undercoat, not undercoat. What's it called?
Yeah, but I build planes and stuff, and there's much smaller panel lines. You know, like smaller sort of things. I don't want to. No, anyway, I just use a pen because a pen's really easy to use.
What, like a biro?
No, not a biro.
What sort of pen?
What I specifically use is a CD marker because you can just wipe it off with alcohol.
Right.
So,
okay.
So it doesn't matter, right? Like you don't have to sand it away when you're done. Once you've got your panel line completely removed, you can just put that on. CD marker comes off with alcohol. Easy.
Well, there you go.
Yep.
Just make sure you test it beforehand because sometimes the alcohol will wash most of it away, but not all of it, right? Whereas it
Hey, you don't want to put it anywhere you've had putty because it'll just wipe the putty away.
Oh no, but I don't use that. I use super glue. So again, I'm safe.
Yep.
Yeah, but super glue is so hard because it's a very hard sort of thing to sort of
Well, it goes
sand.
Yeah, I guess, but you can get around it. Like, say, what I like to do is I'll put tape on either side of the seam line.
Yep.
And then I'll put my super glue down, and then I'll quickly peel away the tape, and then hit it with the accelerator. So I'm left with a small line of it.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, and when you got like a really thin like crack of a small line of super glue, you can sand that away in seconds.
Yep.
Good idea.
But I did come across something that worked really, really super well during all these disasters.
And that was learning new vocabulary? Or
Apart from the fact that the Tamiya kit is just building beautifully, I also used for the first time that new Tamiya lacquer paint.
Okay.
I've got some of that.
And I mixed it with Mr. Colour Thinner 110. I did a 1-to-1 mix. So 50 parts paint of lacquer and 50 parts Mr. Colour Thinner.
Okay, so the 110 on those
Yep.
refers to how many mils you get.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. That's not a code or anything. That's the amount.
All right, then. Let me do a rewind. I used the Mr. Colour Thinner in a 1-to-1 ratio with the Tamiya lacquer paint, and it lays down like nothing I've ever used
Yeah,
before.
it goes well, doesn't it?
It is absolutely
So which grey you got?
I've got the I can't read the bottle. Curé Arsenal grey.
Curé Arsenal.
That goes with the particular
Yep.
Japanese one I'm building. And not only does it lay down so well, it dries super quick.
So quick, yeah.
And you can then just load your next colour into your airbrush without having to bother to clean it because it dries so quick. And because it's so thin with a 1-to-1 ratio that I've used, it doesn't leave heaps and heaps of sort of residue in the brush. So you can go bang, 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 bang in your brush afterwards. It's awesome.
You're preaching to the choir.
Really, am I? Have you used it before, have you?
Well, yeah. I mean, I have used that stuff before, and I found, the particular color that I used, I found to have very poor coverage. But I use lacquer paints all the time anyway.
What do you mix your lacquer paints with?
Well, you mean for thinner?
Yeah.
Yeah, I use that thinner, but the leveling thinner version
the
of
Mr.
it.
Leveler.
Yeah, the leveling thinner. So it's the same stuff, but it's got leveling properties to it. So things come out smoother.
Well, I've found because it's I mixed it at the ratio of 1:1, it's already coming out not very strong anyway, and you don't necessarily need the Mr. Leveler as well because it's going down. So you're doing fine runs. You're not sort of bogging on a whole heap of paint at once. You don't need it to auto level.
Well, I use Mr. Paint, and Mr. Paint goes on. I mean, I don't use the thinner with Mr. Paint because Mr. Paint's already pre-thinned, and I haven't had a situation yet where I needed to thin it a bit more. But when I do use my leveling thinner, I'll use it with almost every paint that I have, except for Vallejo, whom I don't touch because it literally turns it into like paste.
Yeah, I'm starting to move away from Vallejo now as well.
Yeah, but no, I mean what I mean is like lacquer thinner will make Vallejo clump. Your airbrush. Don't use it.
Oh, okay.
You'll be there forever trying to clean it out.
It's like putting lacquer thinner in with your standard Mr. Hobby.
No, that works. That works fine.
I've seen that curdle.
I do that.
I've seen that curdle. That's just Once I saw that curdle, I've gone that don't work.
I use it all the time. I'm serious. I'm absolutely serious. Lacquer thinner.
Oh, is it the other way around? No, it's the other way around.
Yeah, it's the other way. If you put alcohol in lacquer paint, that's not a good. No, it doesn't like
curdles.
that. Yeah. That's the other way around. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so lacquer thinner works really good with Mr. Hobby and really good with Tamiya acrylic as well. Actually, it works really nice.
I'm just loving this new Tamiya lacquer paint. I reckon it is I was going to say something rude then, but I won't swear.
Bee's knees.
It's the bee's knees, yeah. It's absolutely awesome.
Do bees have knees?
So the only criticism I got is it's not a large selection of the paints yet.
No, but you can get the one colour that you can't get anywhere else. Which is one of the greys. I think it's Yokosuka Arsenal grey.
I've got all four greys.
Yeah.
Because
I had to buy about 4 or 5 pots of that just for the Shikaku. It's going to take a lot of grey.
Well, it's amazing. It lays down so well that because I thinned it down, 1:1, it makes the pot go, quite a long way. So
yeah, but the Shikaku is a bit bigger than your Cruiser.
Is it?
It's a lot bigger than your Cruiser, mate.
Okay, all right.
A lot bigger.
Yeah.
So 3 times the size.
I guess you're right there. I guess you're right. So I did have one win out of my horror run in building. So how did I sort of bounce back from it, I guess, which is the ultimate question that I pose. And it's just finding something else just to get on with. And as I said, I reached for a Tamiya kit and it restored my faith in modelling.
Well, that's one thing you can always rely on, isn't it?
Well, the other thing is
I just rely on my semi-Dutch stubbornness. I will not let you beat me.
Well, the other thing too is you just take a break, just walk away and reach for a different kit. So
the amount of times I had to walk away from the bench when I did those little triple-mounted 25mm anti-aircraft guns for the Shikaku.
You're the crazy Aussie, so everybody knows that. That just
was like, you do one and then you just got to walk away.
Yeah.
Because by the time you finish doing one, you're going cross-eyed to begin with.
Yep.
And you just got to walk away. It's just, I can't do this. I'll walk away, have a cup or something or a beer and...
See, that's why I like to have like an Airfix aircraft sitting there on hand or something like that, because you can just reach for that and just start building that to take your mind off the disaster you've just had with something else.
Yep.
So I don't really need to do that because all of my kits are nice kits that will make me happy.
Really now? So let's talk about the one that you gave away recently, the JU-88, was it?
Yeah, okay. Well, there's a few nasty ones.
Thank you.
To be honest, the JU-88, right? There's not many JU-88 kits out there to begin with. And when I saw this kit, I thought, "Oh, that's a new tool. That sounds pretty good." I bought it. When I opened it up, it looked fantastic. And then when I started putting it together, issues started arising. And then I lost my patience with it.
Even the Revell kits look fantastic when you look at them in the box.
Well, the new Revell kits are quite
Oh,
nice
all
anyway.
right, the old ones in. Even the old Revell kits look good in the box when you open them.
No, not always.
But I mean, like usually,
Not always. I've seen some boxes you open them up and it's like there's a kitten amongst all that flash.
Yeah, so I do have you're right. I do have a few kits that are not very friendly kits, but they're usually one of a kind. They're usually like where there's nowhere else to turn. To be honest, the P38 has been a lot of that. I mean, it looks like a nice kit, nice enough kit in the box, and it looks okay. But the level of engineering involved, while being okay, is not okay when you're building specifically a P38. Is what I found. If it was any other plane, they're probably pretty fine. But there's a twin boom layout, and the way P38s need a it's really interesting. Like because P38s with the twin boom layout, it's really interesting. Like the different ways you could possibly have tackled it. And Academy went the very standard, fuselage halves and all that sort of thing all the way along.
Why don't you go back and build a jig for it and have it resting in a jig as you built it? Like they actually built the real aircraft in a jig.
No, it's not that. It's not necessarily that issue. It's the issue. The main issue is like the way the booms go onto the wings and where they line up. It's just a poorly engineered kit, really. That's all. If you actually, there's a P38L in 48 scale by Hobby Boss, and you know how they did it? They did it complete top and bottom halves, the whole thing,
like a tank.
more like a modern, like most jet kits are.
Yep.
Well, not most jet kits, but a lot of jet kits, right? Where they've separated like through the middle horizontally.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I haven't built one.
Why didn't you build that one then?
Well, I wasn't building an L. Of the late ones, the J's and L's, and versus the early ones like the F's and H's, I much prefer the F. It's more streamlined. It's more pretty.
Oh, okay. All right, I think we'll leave that particular subject there, and do you guys just want to move straight on to the next subject, which was goals for 2019?
Yeah, why not?
How's that sound?
Sure.
So, Julian, I'll start with you. What are your goals for 2019?
Oh, my goals. I do have a lot of kits on the horizon that I need to build. My first ship kit among one of them. And
we're all looking forward to that, folks.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Hang on, is it going to be a waterline or a full hull?
I haven't decided yet. If I can sort of muster the courage to do water effects, I'll do it as waterline.
Okay.
I'm not going to do waterline unless I can do water effects.
Well, you're looking at two accomplished shipbuilders. Neither one of us has tackled water yet, have we?
Not in that capacity.
No.
I've done the odd puddle
Yeah.
or corner of a lake, but that's about as far as I've ever gone for doing. And that was back in the 80s, back when you were using surfboard resin.
So, what I'll be quite happy to do is stand back and learn from your mistakes.
I would very much advise it. But fortunately, you don't have to look at just my mistakes. There are plenty of other people out there making mistakes on the internet as well.
There's some damn good water effects people out there.
Oh, absolutely.
There are.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's another draw card, isn't it? I mean, like when you get the water effects looking right, it's amazing.
It looks
Yeah,
stunning.
it does. Chris Flood have to be one of the people to aspire to in regards to doing water effects for ships.
Oh, yeah.
So just put his name in Google and you'll see pictures of his models popping up and the seascapes that he does. Some of them you almost get seasick looking at them. They're that sort of realistic. And I've mentioned it time and time again, but the Korean modelers, they're doing water effects like I've never seen before. It's just absolutely gobsmacked how they managed to do it.
I think that might actually be just like one or two guys, specifically one guy that gets the most attention because that's his kind of thing.
Oh, there's a couple of them out there doing it now.
Yeah, I think there's a couple, but a lot of them are from that one particular guy. I can't remember his name, much less pronounce it.
Yeah,
but he's the guy that's everyone's seen his sub getting torpedoed. And the underwater explosion, you know.
There's another one with a US DDG slicing through the water, and the water is done in such a way that you can. It's like a glass or plastic plate.
Okay.
And you can see the hull underneath it, which is got no water effects on it, and on top looking down, it's almost like this beautiful sort of seascape that the DDG is sort of going through. It's just gorgeous, anyway.
Yeah.
So, what are your other goals?
My other goal, I've also got. I also want to start a YouTube channel.
Oh.
Right. Now there's a lot of modelers out there with YouTube channels, but I want to document my builds in a way that I can see them. Right. I don't want to just have some photos so I can go, oh, look, that's the cockpit that I made up that you'll never see again. I want something that to properly, sort of show. I also want to bring to light some kits out there that don't get enough attention.
Yep.
There are plenty of kits out there where everyone's like hyped for it, then it comes out and then no one buys it and it gets forgotten about. I'd like to sort of bring attention to some of those sort of kits. One of them, and the one I've got in mind for it, I don't know if I necessarily want to do it as my first video because, my first video is going to be garbage anyway.
Yep.
But it's.
I'm not saying yes, it will be garbage. I'm saying I understand.
It'll absolutely be garbage. No one's first attempt is ever good.
Well, listen to the first few episodes we did of this program. Right. They're not exactly the best, were they?
No, well, I mean, we've come a long way. Anyway, in any case, so the kit I've got in mind is the Helldiver, right?
Oh,
because
okay.
the Helldiver,
the pro model of Helldiver.
Yeah. So from what I understand, like if you go online and you look for model examples of the Helldiver built up, you'll get very, very few results.
No, not many people have built it.
No, there's a lot of aftermarket for it, and I bought most of it.
So have I.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, you've got it.
I even bought a big Victory Productions decal sheet, which comes with 30 schemes that I'm going to use 2 decals out of.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
Everything else will be painted.
All right, yep. Yeah, so I definitely want to get stuck into that, and I'll see how. Yeah, I'm in my heart.
Do an ASC rescue one.
No, hell no. I'm doing
a big orange band that goes across the side of it.
No, I'm doing a proper, Pacific War one.
Do a French one.
No, definitely not.
From the Aramanches.
That looks good. That'll look good.
When I was poking around on the internet looking for models of Helldivers, I actually came across the quite nice special hobby Helldiver in 72nd scale. Yeah, that's really nice, but it doesn't. From what I can tell, it only comes in the French scheme. It doesn't come in regular standard American markings. Yeah, so that's one kit I definitely want to get stuck into. Also, I've realised I've gotten a bit of a taste for doing sort of non-World War I biplanes.
Okay, like the Tiger Moth.
I'm not doing a Tiger Moth.
Henschel 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I've bought my Henschel 1, 2, 3. I'm getting near the end of the build for my my Pete.
Gloucester Gladiator.
Yeah.
I would like to do a Gloucester Gladiator.
I've got a really nice Rodin one of them.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, from the
1960s.
No, Gloucester Gladiator. No, it was Finnish, but it was the Swedish Volunteers.
Oh, that'd be an interesting scheme to do.
Yeah. Oh, it's got a skull on the side, so of course I'm going to build it. It's got to have a skull on it.
Yeah. So I'd like to do a Gloucester Gladiator, but if preferable, because I don't need it anytime soon, I would like to get the Eduard limited edition boxing, which would save me a lot of hassles.
You got to get it. You got to get what I got then.
You've
got to get, if you like the post-war biplanes and unusual biplanes, you got to get yourself a Karaya branded.
What?
Karaya is the company name. You've seen the kit I've got.
Oh, hello.
The Vickers Cowgun Fighter.
Vickers Cowgun Fighter.
Yeah, what an awesome machine that is. The propeller's halfway down the fuselage.
What?
Yep.
What, like a pusher?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's got this big oversized, looks like anti-tank gun hanging out the front, offset. And the pilot's been offset the other side.
Oh, seriously?
It is just the most freakiest looking thing.
I think I can picture it, but I'm not sure.
I love it. It's a great twin boom.
Oh.
And I've got the Swordfish, the Tamiya Swordfish float plane that I want to build as well.
Or you can do an Alcabor. That was a...
fairly Alcabor.
That was the next one after the Swordfish. Yep. So that was biplane.
Okay. Maybe not
Bit of
that
a dog
one.
of an aircraft.
What about an AN2?
Like, so you're rattling off all these names and numbers, and I don't know what they are.
Antonov Colt.
Yeah. It was, in fact, the Antonov Colt was famous because it was used by, Was it the North Koreans? They converted to a bomber in the first stages of the Korean War.
Well, I do want to make a I-153.
Oh, yeah, the Chaco, yeah.
Yeah, I do want to make one of those. Did you know there's a lot of resin for that? Yeah, that's how I know about it, because I was snipping around some in aftermarket.
From Vector?
Yeah, lots of Vector.
Sergi, he'd be going mad over that sort of stuff.
Or just pull you away from the military stuff and build a pit special. That's a biplane.
Well, let's not go too far out there. All right.
Oh, when you do one of Mr. Cam's.
Mr. Cam's?
Yeah, one of Mr. Cam's.
Who's Mr. Cam?
The man who gave us the Hawker Hurricane.
Okay.
Because he also built a Hawker Hurricane with a detachable top wing.
Yes, now I saw that the other day floating. Where did I see
Cam,
that?
Yeah, Sydney Cam was one of his developments.
It was. And it for all intents and purposes, it kind of looks like the love child of a Gloucester Gladiator.
No, looks like a Hawker Fury.
It looks a cross between a Hawker Fury and the Gloucester Gladiator.
Yeah.
It's an interesting sort of aircraft.
In any case, there's plenty of subjects for me to get stuck into, right?
Yeah,
and
sorry.
I don't need to buy them all straight away.
Yeah, that's true.
Kits I do have on that I would really like to just sort of get into, but I can't just yet because I want to finish doing all my sort of Pacific War stuff. I'd really like to get stuck into my my Tamiya Storch.
Oh yeah,
the Feisler Storch.
Yep.
That's a lovely kit, that.
Yeah, I know. I already screwed one up.
You've screwed one up.
Yep.
How'd you manage to do that?
Well, it's got a metal spar,
correct,
kind of thing.
Yeah. Yep.
And when I glued that in, it was one of my first uses of super glue, and I fogged the canopies.
Right.
Do you know there's a Feisler Storch down the road? I think at Tyab Airport.
There's quite a lot floating around.
The old aeroplane company, I think they're restoring one.
Yeah.
Look, I didn't know there was a P-38 Lightning here in Australia.
Now, I saw that there.
Apparently that got sold.
That got sold off from... Yeah.
It's a wrong... I saw that, and it's a wrong... It's not olive drab. That's in a weird shade of green or something.
It's a weird green.
Yeah.
But P-38, I didn't even know they were out here. I know there used to be an Oscar and a Tony...
Our RAAF used to have P-38s.
Yes, we had 4
weirdo ones.
Yeah, the
weirdo noses.
Photo reconnaissance versions.
Abominations. Those look so ugly.
The F4, wasn't it? The P-38 F4?
I think it was reconnaissance type stuff, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Ian, what are your goals for 2019?
Well, first, finish the Chicago, as I've been saying for the last few months.
You're making great progress on that thing, man.
Yeah, I actually scratch built the bottom part of the main mast yesterday.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't happy with Fujima's offering.
Okay.
Well, basically where all your struts join together, they had like all these big flash bits because they can't do all that fine structural stuff. So I just used my new chopper.
Yeah.
And so all me girders and...
So that chopper is... What was the name of the company again that does them? The Dispasio?
No, it wasn't Dispasio. I can't remember who it was. JP Tools? JP Tools, I think it was. Yeah. JP Tools.
So you used your chopper for the first time?
Oh, I love that thing. Being able to just get your styrene rod...
Yep.
Measure it out, all right, on a 6 of that length.
Yep.
And they're all going to be the same size. Dink, 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 chop, 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 chop. There's 6 identical.
Perfect.
Straight edges, everything.
Perfect.
All you do is just glue it all together. And I was really happy with that.
Yep.
And it looks a lot stronger than the kit one.
It probably is after you're finished with it. Yeah. Probably better build as well.
Managed to get the bridge done.
Yep.
Well, most of that's done. I'm still waiting. I've got to spend more money.
Oh, no. What do you mean you're going to spend more money?
Searchlights.
Oh.
The kit searchlights look like lollipops.
Well, there's a Voyager.
Yeah, so was it Voyager? Yeah, one of Voyager I ordered.
Voyager,
it comes with about 4 different sorts.
Yeah, resin ones.
Yeah, and even comes with the lanterns because I need some of the lanterns as well.
Yep.
Because the kit lanterns just look like little nubs, whereas these are actually clear resin lanterns, so you just got to paint the outside of them. So yeah, I've ordered them in.
So 2019 is just going to be Shikaku for you.
Well, till Expo's finished, Shikaku, which I've got to say now the sprues are getting pretty thin.
Yeah,
There's
that's good. That's
not all that much plastic left on the sprues.
Yep.
Shimakaze still needs finishing before Expo.
Mm.
So that's 2 major ship models. If I got enough time, I'd love to do a little Tarawa Banzai charge diorama.
Yep.
That's if I got enough time. We've only got 6 months. Once that's done, not sure. I might actually build it. I've been looking. I think it was a. I can't remember, one of those Russian World War II tanks with the squarish top turrets.
Squarish top turrets.
Yeah, you know, the Russian.
Oh, the
K2.
KV2.
No, I think it's KV1. Sorry, KV1.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
A
I
little
bought
small turret with a little
Yeah.
tiny gun.
Yeah. But it's got really cool artwork of some Russian guy kicking a German in the bum on the side of it. I thought that was pretty cool. So I might give that a herb, build an armour kit.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
I
With
might hook into an aeroplane kit.
Yeah.
I've decided, because I realised, and I was talking to one of my other modelling mates, and over the past, I say close to 10 years, 90% of my modelling has been done for club purposes.
Yeah.
I want to build something for myself.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a bit that way myself.
Mm.
Like, don't get me wrong, I love building stuff for the club. It's great, but when they come up, Expo, we've got to do, what's our theme for next year? Oh, our theme for next year is rah, rah, rah. For example, we'll go Vietnam War. So,
Yep.
look at me stash, and I might have 2 kits.
Mm.
Someone else already built them. So I've got to go out and buy a kit just for that. Meanwhile, my stash gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and I'm not getting any younger. As I look at it, I've got 3 lifetimes worth of kits waiting to be built.
Yeah. Time to thin the herd, maybe.
Yeah, well, I want to buy again this year. There's at least 3 kits I want to get this year, maybe more.
The Lancaster in 1/32 scale.
Yes,
from
that's
Wing
for
Nut
sure.
Wings.
Yes, the Hellcat in 124 scale.
Yep.
That Rolls-Royce armoured car for sure.
Yeah. Even I could be
And-
tempted by that.
And I saw...
Really? The Rolls-Royce armoured car, you're really liking that?
Oh, yeah, with the big fat wheels. It's just Mad Max freaking
On steroids.
1914. Yeah.
Steampunk
Well, yeah.
1914.
Have you seen my one? They're not very big.
No, they're not big. Well, I built it, as you saw, I built the Model T Ford. That was only about that big, mate. That was tiny.
Yeah, and about that narrow.
Yeah.
Just for the viewers who listeners, Ian and Julian
Yeah.
are squaring off with showing finger sizes to
Yeah,
each
finger
other.
sizes. Yeah, so
Mine's this small.
so it doesn't look much bigger than a tube of toothpaste.
No. But it's a cool looking machine, and especially those big fat tyres. And I saw, is it Trumpeter, I think, or Hobby Boss, bringing out a heap of 350 scale ships this year.
Trumpeter.
And a lot of Royal Navy
Yeah, a lot of Royal
cruisers
Navy
and
stuff.
stuff. And
Absolutely.
it's like, about time.
Yeah, yeah.
So there goes more money.
Mm.
Because I'm thinking about, with me ships, I'm just going to go for ships that we use in the Pacific.
True.
That's why I want to get the Exeter. Because the Exeter was sunk off Malaya, was it?
Yeah. No, you're thinking of Ajax.
No.
Not Ajax.
Exeter.
Was it Exeter that went down with that with the hood?
No.
Not the hood.
The Exeter,
Lord.
the Exeter fought alongside and helped take out the Bismarck, but it was sunk by Japanese bombers.
Yeah, torpedo. But there were 2 of them off the coast of Malaya.
Prince of Wales.
Prince of Wales. Thank you.
Yep.
And it was the Exeter that went down with her as well.
I think it may have been
Okay.
well, I do know the Exeter got sunk by the Japanese.
Mm.
So I know they got the HMS Nadir coming out. There's another.
It's a whole heap of new
Yeah.
stuff coming out from Trump. And in
It's like,
fact, I saw and I was almost going to talk about it in our What's New subject, but we can't. Not that we can't. There's it's just pictures of the catalogue. It doesn't really give much detail, so I thought we'll wait until
they're too small
got
to
more
actually
information.
read what
Yeah.
they are.
Like it was the Zvezda put out their
Zvezda.
put out their catalogue, but it's all in Russian, so I got no idea what's a new kit and what's
Yeah,
not.
that's right.
So
Yeah, it
I
makes it
didn't
hard.
even bother to attempt that.
Yep.
So yeah, cool.
So no, that's basically me
Ah.
my future of modelling for this year.
Well, my goals for the podcast itself is to try and get more guests in from overseas. I've got to get this a way figured out that I can record other people from overseas. The time zone's killing us.
Oh yeah,
which
yeah,
makes
yeah,
it really
yeah.
hard. I don't know. We've got a guest teed up from the US to talk to, but it's a case of us getting together and getting the right time zones all zonked out.
Correct.
Back to Model Expo this year. Definitely, that was a big winner for us.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And we'll do, because I think we've got 2 episodes, nearly 3 hours worth of recordings.
Last year, it was 3 days worth of.
Yeah, but it turned out to be about 3 hours worth of recording. So the listener base really loved that. So we'll definitely go and do that again this year.
Yep.
On a personal note, I want to finish off my 2 aircraft carriers I've got building at the moment. So the Gambier Bay and the Independence, when I can finally get hold of the Dragon and get no, I'm not doing the Essex. Yeah, I'll take on another day.
Come on, you've done most of that.
Yeah, I know. The thing is, I'm really committing. I've got a lot that are sort of partial built or half built, and I've determined I want to finish them before.
All your shelf coins, get rid of them all.
Yeah. So this year's a shelf coin year, I think.
I've been doing a bit of that.
And no more buying of kits. That's the other sort of promise to myself.
Just can't help. I can't help myself.
I thought of because you remember last episode we spoke about what we're going to do in the new year and how I made that promise. I'm not going to buy any kits. I found another way around a loophole.
Oh yeah, and
You're not supposed to. It's a self-imposed rule.
What I do is I tell people my birthday, hey, this is what I want.
There you go.
God.
So technically I won't buy them. There we go.
Or if you got friends like us, we'll just buy you the crappiest kit of that subject that we can find.
Well, see, I'm not going to ask you guys to get me anything for my birthday.
Oh, there you go.
Because I know what you guys will come up with.
Yeah, of course we will.
No, see, I go the other way when I buy gifts for people. I buy them kits they can't refuse. They're like, oh, that's too good. I can't afford to throw that in the bin.
All right, I think that just about wraps up the show. We love hearing from you guys, so please drop us a line. You can do that either one or 2 ways. You can go to our Facebook page, which is...
Been getting a lot of traffic lately.
It has, and it's good to see people posting their model kits. And their
Yes, someone posted, I can't remember your name, but the Eindecker was quite nice. I saw that today,
it looked great. It's his first attempt at doing rigging too.
Yeah, he's done a great job on that.
Was it Brett?
Yeah, it might be Brett. Yeah.
And... it looked awesome. I thought it came up really well. So I'd be proud of that if it was my model for a first attempt at rigging.
Yeah.
That looked pretty darn good. So
and there's a lot of rigging on those little line deckers.
I know. He certainly picked a hard subject for his first attempt at rigging, didn't he?
Exactly.
You think you find an easier one to do, but good on him. That was awesome.
Too true.
The other way to get in touch with us is by sending us an email, and our email address is onthebench64@gmail.com. And it would be remiss of me not to mention I'm going to call them this now, our sister sort of podcast show over in Canada, which is the Scale Model Podcast.
Yes.
Our good friend Stuart over there runs a great little show.
He does, actually, yeah.
And he publishes on the off week to us. So when we publish this week, he'll be publishing next week. So you can never have a week of not having a modelling podcast, which is awesome.
Yep.
And also, Andrew Thomas is a great supporter of ours, another Canadian, and he's got a Facebook page called Sci-Fi Custom Collectibles. So just go to Facebook and punch that in. It's all the goodies about sci-fi stuff and
some very, very good subjects on there.
Yeah, did you see what Andrew did? He did a couple of Enterprise or Star Trek, and he did it in a
Shadow box.
Yeah, it looked awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. I was really impressed with that.
It looked really nice.
See, shadow boxes are cool.
I reckon I'm going to do my submarines in shadow boxes now, I've decided.
Are you?
Yeah, I reckon it looks really good.
Because, subs are perfect for that, right?
Yeah.
Because they're not too wide.
Well, same with...
a lot of ships.
Yeah, I'm saying the same with a lot of the spacecraft too. They're fairly flat. And they look good sitting in a photo. Just like Andrew did.
You know what they kind of remind me of? You know, there's people who put like shadow boxes with butterflies in them, the butterfly collecting people.
Entomologists.
Is it entomologists?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, like, I reckon you could do that with a lot of like 72nd and 144 scale aircraft.
Oh, your submarines. What you do with your submarines, just get a big gull nail and just whack it in there. What are you doing? Just holding there with a big silver gull nail. There you go, just like your specimens, your butterfly specimens.
Well, isn't that what kids would do? Like put a big nail nail something to a piece of wood.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are crazy.
Yeah.
We're crazy, aren't we?
It took you this long to figure out, did you, Dave?
All right, that's it from me. Ian, any last parting words?
Stay crazy, guys.
Julian.
No, not really. I can never. You always put me on the spot with these things. I never know what to say.
All right, guys. Until the next episode. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.